Chapter 9, Calling the Sun. Thoth knows what is expected of him. The Egyptian god of wisdom knows his place in the pantheon hierarchy. When he should stay silent, he stays silent. But when he speaks his mind. This is one of those times. Two horses ride side by side. As they come into view, Thoth worries. Never before has he encountered Greeks this close to Ra's home. They would be requesting an audience with the Egyptian sun god. It is Thoth's duty to prevent such interactions. Ra, his superior in every aspect, has little patience for outsiders. However, there they are, intent on an audience. Thoth feels impotent to stand in their way. The horses kick up sand as they approach. They are not accustomed to the inhospitable heat that Egypt offers. Thoth arranges his subordinates to supply cool water so that they may drink and be washed, so that their sweat may be soothed. He is familiar with both riders. Athena he knows well. She is his Greek counterpart. However, she is held in higher esteem than he. When she is not fighting, the two of them often engage in friendly philosophical debates. She is, more often than not, the victor in these wars of words. The second rider he knows more from reputation. Poseidon is generally considered to be the chief god of the sea, eclipsing the Egyptian god Sobek and the goddess Nephthys. Thoth rushes out to greet them. "Friends," he says, "it is good to see you." Athena dismounts her horse and embraces Thoth. Poseidon extends his hand. Thoth smiles through the handshake, even though the sea god's grip is crushingly firm. "I trust you received word of our arrival from Hermes," Athena said. "That I did," Thoth replies. "However, I am a little bit confused. An audience with Ra is difficult to arrange. I fear he will be most circumspect, considering that Zeus will not be present." "Zeus is unable to travel," Poseidon explains, "but we can assure you it is of the utmost importance that we speak with Ra immediately. There are grave matters at hand. Zeus has entrusted me to speak on his behalf." Thoth nods. "Very well. Follow me." They follow Thoth down a flight of stone-carved steps, entering Ra's pyramid. They arrive in a large room with thrones along the wall. Poseidon is ready to take a seat, but is warned by Thoth. "Do not sit upon any of these thrones. They belong to our gods." "And not your guests?" Poseidon asks. "I am sorry, but neither of you are considered true divinities in Egypt." Poseidon is offended, and it shows. "I can assure you that your pantheon is held in the highest regards on Olympus." Thoth backtracks. "The same feeling extends here. However, it is the Egyptian gods that are the most revered." Athena intervenes before Poseidon can create a scene. "We understand. We can stand while we wait." Thoth is relieved. "Thank you. Now I will ask for Ra's presence." Thoth disappears down a corridor. Poseidon is angry. "Do not interrupt me again, Pallas Athena." "I am trying to help. Do you think Ra would be pleased with Greek gods arguing in his vestibule?" Poseidon relents. "I suppose you are correct in your assumption." "Good. Now explain something to me. You claim you have contact with Zeus. I have not been able to contact him for some time, and yet you have his trust. Surely you must know where he can be found." Poseidon lowers his voice to a whisper. "I do not. No one can find Zeus. I suspect he is fathering more siblings for you, Athena. But for us Greeks to remain strong, we must keep up appearances. If that means I must lead in his stead, then so be it." "I wish you had informed me of this before we made this trek. I may have been less likely to follow your plan." "You have little choice now." Athena considers this. "I'm afraid you are correct in your assumption. I shall help you, but remember, if this turns sour, you are on your own." Poseidon reassures her. "Trust me. Our differences aside, we both have the same goal, to encourage the Egyptians to send their forces to help defend the portal. You could use their support on the front lines, so I am told." Athena nods. "You could have mentioned that far sooner. I would have come along most willingly." "I need you to engage Thoth, as you have a kinship. He will aid our ability to talk sense to Ra." "I can do that. I will regale tales of the war and explain how badly we need their support." "Excellent." A few minutes later, Thoth emerges from the corridor. "May I present to you Ra, the one true sun god?" Ra walks slowly into the room without making eye contact with Poseidon or Athena. He takes his seat on the largest of the thrones. Ra appears as an 18-year-old boy, but a very surly one. He seems distracted, as he was disturbed from slumber. He peers down upon Poseidon and Athena with distaste. "Thoth, why have you allowed these demigods into my chamber?" Athena kneels before him. She instructs a reluctant Poseidon to do so as well. Grudgingly, he follows suit. Thoth explains, "They have come from many miles away for an audience with you, my king. They expressed that it was of paramount importance that they meet with you." Ra addresses Poseidon and Athena. "Rise. Tell me why you have sought me. Tell me why you would disturb the great Ra." Athena answers, "It is because of the war over the portal. We are losing traction and need reinforcements on the battlefield. We are hoping that you could—" "Silence!" Ra orders. "When I speak to a female, I shall make that clear. And as for you, Poseidon, why have you come instead of your brother? I suspect I would have more patience with him." "If I may," Poseidon answers, "Zeus is unable to attend. I will be negotiating on his behalf." Ra growls, "There are few negotiations I would entertain with you, minor god. But speak. Speak if you must." Poseidon readies himself. "We need a stronger show of armies from you. There must be a heightened commitment from the Egyptian soldiers. The battle for control of Sphere Eternus depends upon it. Ra, it depends upon you." Thoth interjects, "Our forces of the light are engaged at the moment. There is an ongoing civil war between the gods of the Black Soil and the Red Desert. This must be resolved before we can bind our forces on outside battles." Athena cannot control herself. "Ra, I am certain you are aware that the Sphere Eternus controls all planes. If it falls into the hands of the darkness, the entire universe will fall under their domination. Do you really want to see Egypt beneath the reign of Anubis?" "Enough!" Ra exclaims. "I do not wish to hear another syllable. I control Egypt, not you, nor Anubis, nor Set. Egypt has been safe under my rule for thousands upon thousands of years. It will continue to be so, regardless of your power struggle." Athena gets her final licks in. "With all due respect, why can the demons from the darkness continue to wage war upon us while your armies simply fight amongst themselves?" Ra's eyes beam red. "Thoth, please show these putrid gods out. My tolerance has worn thin." Poseidon becomes infuriated. "I never thought that dealing with someone of your purported character would be so difficult. If you do not care for your brothers and sisters of the light, then Odin and I have no use for you." "Nor I for you. Now exit at once." Thoth leads the two back through the hallways and outside the pyramid. "I am sorry. Ra can be challenging. He was already having a trying day," Athena warns. "You know what the portal means. We will all be helpless to defend against the darkness if it is captured." "I am certain that I can reason with him. Perhaps it will come better from me and not two outsiders." "Very well," Athena says. "Contact me when you gain traction with him." Athena and Thoth embrace. Thoth extends his hand to Poseidon, but Poseidon refuses it. "If we ought to be enemies," Poseidon says, "let's not maintain false signs of respect." "I certainly do not wish we become adversaries. We have learned much from you, as you have with us." Athena steps between the two. "Thoth is a friend. He will make this right." "I shall do all that I can," Thoth agrees. Poseidon relents. "Very well. Just remember, you will be measured on what you accomplish, not by what you attempt." "I understand." Poseidon and Athena's horses are brought to them. They mount and begin to trot side by side. "What do you mean by Odin and I? Have you had a meeting?" "Yes, a most pleasant one indeed." Athena stares at Poseidon, who appears to be ignoring her. "Why was I not made aware? Surely you would want the goddess of wisdom at your side." Poseidon pulls the reins and brings his horse to a halt. "Athena, we have encountered many differences through the years. I'm never sure if I can trust you." "Well, I don't see you have a choice. We have to pull together now, all of us. What do you need? Poseidon asks. Troops, soldiers, anyone you can spare. There is a large lake between the front and the portal. Triton would be a most excellent choice to join us. I'm afraid Triton is otherwise engaged. He is working on a special project for me. However, I can offer you Anthus and Hyperius. Of course, I will see to it that your forces have steeds in which to ride into battle. That should be sufficient for your cause. Ra is not pleased with Thoth. Why? He demands. Would you share precious knowledge of the ongoing war between Horus and Set with those Greek pretenders? I believe that they should have some kind of explanation as to why our forces are not on the war front, Thoth replies. What is the business of Egypt is that of Egypt and Egypt alone. Outsiders need not know our affairs. I am sorry, my king. Ra grips his scepter. I expect for this transgression you'll need more than a simple apology. Perhaps a little time in the underworld would do you justice. Thoth is frightened. But the underworld is now controlled by the darkness. Anubis himself has claimed power over all planes. If you send me there, my safety would be jeopardized. I might never return. Ra stares down the god of wisdom. I am sure with all your wiles you will survive. I am banishing you as of this moment. I shall recall you when I am ready.